Lord of the Mysteries. Chapter 676. Tripartite Transaction. Bizarro Sorcerer. Klein suddenly woke up from his dream as he opened his eyes to see the dark night. "It's not noon yet. It's still very dangerous," he mumbled before returning back to sleep. At this moment, he finally recalled that he had already left those dangerous waters. He wouldn't vanish or go missing if he wasn't sleeping at the end of the night. Phew, it's this kind of stable environment that's good. I have to say that mysteriously vanishing due to not sleeping after dark is something that can be used to scare kids, making them not dare to sleep late. I was often scared by such stories when I was young. Klein sat up, walked to the desk, and poured himself a cup of water. After a moment of silence, he gulped down a mouthful of water as he gradually recovered his ability to think. Zeradol really went mad. What exactly did he encounter, or what happened to him? Bizarro Sorcerer. Sequence 4 is called Bizarro Sorcerer. The Seer Pathway's main focus is on being tricky, crafty, pranky, and paranormal? Or should it directly be summarized as being bizarre? Yes, clown, magician, faceless, and marionettist to give me such a feeling. Seer appears to be an exception, but in the eyes of others, the style of a charlatan might appear rather strange and terrifying at times. That's why Zeradol said that fate isn't the main domain of this pathway. Also, it's clear that beyonders of this pathway are more inclined to being spellcasters. According to Will Osepton's explanation, there are 3 methods to obtaining the potion formula to Bizarro Sorcerer. 1. Seek out the secret order and find the mad Zeradol. 2. Head to the main peak of the Hornaces mountain range and find the treasures left behind by the Antigonus family. 3. Obtain it from the church. For example, that Antigonus family's notebook might contain the corresponding formula. But each one of these 3 options is more dangerous than the other. According to Emperor Rosel's description, Zeradol was a Sequence 2 miracle invoker a long time ago, a true angel. Later, he even advanced to Sequence 1. He's equal or slightly weaker than a king of angels. The crazy him might have gone mad, but it's likely that he will be more difficult to deal with. At the very least, there's no possibility of me convincing or tricking him. Even in terms of pure strength, I wouldn't be Zeradol's match even if I employed Mr. Azek's help. Unless I wait for Will Osepton to be born, but if he were to involve himself in this matter, there's a small chance of him incurring the attention of Angel of Fate Ouroboros. As for the treasure on the main peak of the Hornaces mountain range, the resounding ravings, the setup of the Antigonus family, and the rumors of the nation of the Evernight buried in the depths of mystery, they make me feel that it isn't a simple matter. I suspect it's likely to be a trap. I don't even need to consider the Church of the Goddess. Ignoring the fact that the Holy Cathedral has angels presiding over it, as well as a bunch of Grade 0 sealed artifacts, just the Backlund diocese where the Antigonus family's notebook is has a terrifying demigod. Klein couldn't help but recall Mr. A, who had been erased like a pencil drawing. And the one that executed all of that was likely to be one of the upper echelons of the Church of the Evernight Goddess. A beautiful lady whose eyes lacked spirituality. She even smiled at me. I've no idea what it means. Klein shook his head in resignation, believing that he only had one course of action that he had at present. That was to find a demigod from the secret order who was still considered normal. Compared to the mad Zeradol, I can communicate with them at least, or even deal with them. Just Klein alone was impossible, but he could seek Mr. Azek's help or Queen Mystic Bernadette's help at a certain price. I can only consider this for now. Klein rapidly turned his thoughts back on how to help Anderson Hood rid the bad luck curse. It's been more than 2 months. I wonder if Fate Counselor Ricardo has left Oravi Island. Sigh, he hasn't summoned my messenger all this time to inform me of clues to the mystical item I seek. However, it's not a big problem. Bellman Carnot definitely hasn't left his post. I can contact Counselor Ricardo through him. That's good too. The Life School of Thought hasn't completed the request up to now, meaning that they haven't made their final payment. They can pay it off by changing Anderson's luck for the better, then I can receive the payment from Anderson. Heh. When it comes to a mystical item or sealed artifact which possesses immense offensive powers, isn't Anderson's sword one? According to the traits showcased by Reaper, I can ignore the item formed after he dies. I'm not some greedy demon either. I'll definitely pay additional fees to tide him over. Klein wiped away his mischievous thoughts and took out the paper crane from his wallet. After unfolding it, he carefully erased the pencil marks on it. It's really about to tear. I can use it another 2 times at best, he muttered sadly. Then, he folded the paper crane and returned to his bed to continue sleeping. As for using the radio transceiver to contact Rhodes, he planned on doing so after leaving this pirate's playground. After daybreak, Klein languidly got up and slowly washed up, believing that this was how life should be. Thump! 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 The knocking on the door interrupted his state of wistfulness. Without his acumen for danger, his spiritual intuition told him that it was Anderson Hood. As expected of the strongest hunter, he successfully survived up to now. Klein sked and controlled his expressions before opening the door. Anderson was wearing a deer hunting cap of unknown origin. He grinned as he handed him a lone gold coin. What I owe you from yesterday. Klein received the gold coin and measured its weight in his hand. There's an answer to your problem. Anderson's eyes lit up. What's the solution? Don't tell me that the answer is that there are no solutions. Am I such a person? I'll just say that it's hopeless, so just wait for your death. Goodbye. Klein lampooned as he swept Anderson with an indifferent gaze. A demigod that's good at changing one's luck stays in Oravi Island. He owes me a favor. Excellent. Anderson didn't hide his joy. So, what sort of payment must I make? Very sensible of you. Klein deliberately fell silent for 2 seconds before saying, I need a mystical item with powerful offensive abilities. Do you have any clues? If the value exceeds that of the luck enhancement ritual, I will pay the difference. Anderson frowned bit by bit before easing them. He said with a smile, I have a mystical item that matches your request. It has a beyonder power that can deal lethal damage. The negative effects aren't bad either. It eats, sleeps, and has some bad luck, easily attracting monsters and enemies. Occasionally, it will be talkative and be a little off-putting. Haha, it's a joke. To be frank, my death bracketon is the mystical item you need, but it's the only weapon I have left. I do have one relevant clue. It's a rather special revolver. The bullets it shoots have the effects of weakness attack, lethal attack, and a slaughtering effect. Furthermore, it can be matched with bullets of different characteristics. The negative effects include developing a weakness that originally didn't exist after every use, such as the fear of light, the fear of ships, the fear of dogs, etc. And such a weakness will last for 6 hours. There's almost no negative effects when having it on you. It just makes you easily thirsty. This is something completely tolerable. If not for the characteristics of the revolver overlapping with my abilities and the mystical items I have, then I would have bought it back then. The seller is offering it for £9,000. So, the total price would be £1,500 and the clues to the revolver. How about that? Sounds very suitable. Besides, it fits my combat habits. Klein didn't directly agree as he asked in return, £1,500? Haha, I found more than 10 pirates yesterday. They were all very kind, contributing all their wallets to me. Otherwise, they would lend me their characteristics and heads. In just one night, I received £1,600. Seriously, I love this pirate's paradise. Anderson said with a beaming smile. I have to keep £100 for myself for the ship tickets to return to the Fog Sea. So all I can do is pay you £1,500. Earning £1,600 a night? Not only are there many pirates in Toscarter, but they are either worth a lot or have plenty of money. Klein suddenly had thoughts about staying a few more nights in the port city. But considering how the easily cashable and locatable targets had mostly been finished off by Anderson, What was left was definitely not easy. He felt depressed again as he coldly asked, "Aren't you afraid of being a target of revenge for doing something like that in a pirate's playground? What's there to worry about?" "I'm not afraid, even if they're subordinates of a pirate admiral." "Heh, I believe you're the same. If they're men of the Four Kings, that's not a big problem either. We're about to leave, and the propagation of information takes time. By the time they come, I'd have changed ships and identities several times," Anderson said without much concern. "Why are you cursing yourself again?" Klein silently swept him a look of pity. "Deal. Haha, here's £300. You'll have to wait for the remaining £1,200. That's when the bounty rewards and characteristic money arrive. Don't worry, it will definitely come today. It's not a lot." Anderson took out a thick wallet filled with plenty of solid bills and handed them to Klein. In consideration of his persona, Klein only did a simple count before stuffing the cash into his wallet and pockets. He said without emotion, "Buy 2 tickets to Orvie for tomorrow." He didn't deliberately exhort Anderson to buy them with a different identity, as he believed that the hunter across him was mature and experienced. If he's lacking in experience and strength, with the way he does things, he would have long been buried in some sea. Klein couldn't help but lampoon inwardly. "All right." Anderson pointed at the floor. "Breakfast together?" "My treat." Klein nodded without refusing him. Once they arrived downstairs, the two sat at a table near the window. Midway, a waiter brought white porcelain cups and teaspoons over. Just as they interacted, the waiter's gaze suddenly turned adrift. He picked up the teaspoon and stabbed it at Anderson's throat without any warning. Although Anderson was surprised, his reaction was in no way slow. He immediately leaned backward and dodged the sudden strike. Bang! Not far away, the hotel's boss suddenly shot at Anderson's dodging body. What am I doing?" After the gunshot, the boss muttered with a look of alarm and blankness.